All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Gwen Foxstump, and I am going to be running this meeting for Morgan Miller this afternoon. So if you've ever been to a president's meeting with me before, it will probably be slightly briefer than other ones that you might have participated in. I put in the chat that there will be a QR code at the end that you'll be able to check in. Please make sure you mark down what organization you're representing in that short survey that we ask. And then I'll stick around at the end if you have any questions, or you're welcome to email them to studentorgs@udayton.edu. So welcome to the Spring 2024 President's Meeting. I hope you all are staying warm. Hopefully in about a week, it'll be back in the 50s. So a little bit of what we're going to talk about. We're going to cover some Blue Sky Initiative ideas from the university. We're going to talk a little bit about SGA funding, a little overview for 1850, some important dates, and then check out. So hopefully, again, this shouldn't take too long, but hopefully you'll be able to learn a little bit more about being a president of a student organization. So first, welcome back. Hopefully you all had a great Christmas, holiday, New Year's break, and you're all ready to start a new semester. So I want to give a little bit of information about a direction that the University of Dayton is headed. It's something that they're calling the Blue Sky Initiative, and it's really focusing on student success. So making sure that students have the opportunity to connect with resources that they need to be successful at UD. And we're hoping that it's going to enhance the student experience by helping every single undergraduate to engage in high impact experiential learning opportunities and connecting students with learning partners. So I know for a lot of you, this might be the first time you've heard about the Blue Sky Initiative or one of the first few times. So the university committee that's working on Blue Sky is asking for some support from student organizations to learn a little bit more about what it is that you as students who are involved on campus might be looking for. So I sent this QR code out on Tuesday in the weekly student leader email, and I will send it out again next Tuesday. But if you are interested now, you're welcome to follow this QR code to complete this survey. And we ask that if you have the opportunity, you share it with your other student organization members, perhaps at the beginning of your next meeting, and just give them a few minutes to kind of share their thoughts on what they're looking for the university to be able to offer them as support in their learning. All right. SGA wanted me to put this slide in here to make sure that you knew that the spring funding week was happening right now. So spring funding week is a bit longer than a week, certainly it always is. So it started January 8th and it goes until January 22nd. So there is still time to apply for spring funding. So there's 3 different types of funding that happens from SGA. The first is the normal spring funding that you need to apply for before January 22nd. Next is special request funding, and you have to also apply for spring funding in order to ask for those special additional funds. So I would recommend applying for both. And then the third one is an opportunity for individuals in your organizations to receive support for their engagement on campus. So they're called individual student engagement grants. It's the opportunity for a student who might not be able to swing the dues to your organization to be able to do that. So that is an individual grant. You as an organization president or treasurer are not the ones applying for this grant. Each individual student who is interested in that is the one who applies. In order to get that link, you can go to the SGA website on 1850 and they've got information about it there, but it's a really great thing to share with all members of your organization just so that they know that this opportunity is here and they can get up to $250 a year. So if there is a fall dues for your organization of $75 and a spring dues, then they could potentially get it twice in the year. Certainly if you're one of those higher cost organizations, it might not cover a full semester or anything like that, but it's there to kind of give support to students who might need it to be able to afford their engagement. So please share that with your organization members. And if you have any questions about spring funding, special request funding, or those individual student engagement grants, please email the sgafinance@udayton.edu email account. They've got folks there who can answer those questions. All right, next up, we wanted to just give you a little overview of the student org staff. So again, I'm Gwen. I am the Director of Student Activities. Morgan Miller, who most of you know, is the Assistant Director. Amy Freeman is our business manager. So if you work at all with the money in your organization, you're going to be working directly with Amy. And then Erin is our graduate assistant. So she does a lot of those risk meetings and working with Morgan to approve events. So we're going to highlight the student organization resource guide. That really needs to be the first place that you go if you have questions about what steps you need to take to do whatever it is that your organization is trying to do. We're going to talk about event registrations, how to spend or receive money, deposits, how to get flyers approved. And again, if you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. I'll try and keep an eye on that, and then also at the end, or you're welcome to email. So this is just to highlight the commitment to community we have here at UD. We want to make sure that all of our student organizations are contributing to the community here on campus. We want to make sure we're learning in and through community. We're committing ourselves to respect the dignity of every person and practicing solidarity in order to promote the common good. So just some great values to be highlighting while you're a member and an officer of a student organization. So these are some expectations that we have. First is to read and review the student org resource guide. Morgan spent so much time compiling this, and he made it clickable. So if you click on that on the homepage of 1850, it's right there, and you can click anywhere in that table of contents, and it'll take you to that section. So it's really easy to navigate. Our expectation is that you have a president and a treasurer and other officers attend the officers' meetings if the president and treasurers are not available at that selected time, or to again watch this when you are not in class. We expect you to register all of your events and activities. Anything that you are doing on behalf of your organization is an event, so everything needs to be registered. We have twice a year org checkpoints that lead toward the ability for you to be re-recognized for the following year. We ask you to meet regularly with your advisor for whatever makes sense for your organization. Some advisors are very involved and some don't need to be as involved. So we just want to make sure that you're meeting with them and communicating with them in the way that both you and your advisor have agreed upon. We need you to keep a record of emails and documents that CSI has sent you, just to make sure that you're keeping up on all information that's coming and going from your organization. We really need you to update your organization officer positions in 1850. Pretty much the same week that you elect new folks, they need to make sure that they're added into your 1850 officer page. And then please come visit us or email us or reach out to us if there is anything that we can do to help you. One of the things on the previous page was commenting to make sure that your advisor had completed the hazing prevention training, and also hazing prevention training is required of every single student at the University of Dayton. So I'm going to show you in a little bit how you can check on that within members of your organization. But first, if you see something on this campus or within an organization on this campus and you don't think that it's right, please say something. So here's some reporting options on the slide here that can kind of help you to figure out who you need to talk to, who you need to let go, if it's something urgent, if it's something emergent, who you can reach out to at that moment. All right, so to make sure that all the members of your organization have completed hazing training, you're going to go into 1850 and click on members. So this group has 115 current members, and then that will pop up a screen of every single member listed. And then what you're looking for is this Hazing Prevention 101 tag. It should be under their name. Some people have a lot of tags, so you might need to click into their name in order to see all the tags that are affiliated with them. And you just need to make sure that everyone in your organization has completed this training. If they haven't, they are not allowed by Ohio state law to participate in any student organization activities with your or any other student organization. If you need help with this, please reach out. We can help you pull this list. We can help you reach out to individuals on your rosters. Just let us know. All right, so like I said before, the Student Organization Resource Guide really is that first stop for any questions you might have. It talks to you about planning, registering, hosting, and evaluating your events. anything about your finances and your funding, any policies about food and alcohol usage, and just other general policies. So please take a look at that if you have any questions about things you're planning on doing. The spring semester checkpoint will happen at the end of this semester. So it will be live on May 1st and it will close on May 31st. That is right when classes end, and that's when a lot of student orgs are going through a leadership transition. So please make sure that the person who has been the president for this whole spring semester is the one responding to those questions. And if there are questions about that, feel free and reach out. We also can offer educational and leadership workshops or transition meetings between your officers if that's something you'd like help with. And then also it talks a bit about accountability and standards of behavior, which is kind of a partnership between the Center for Student Involvement and Community Standards and Civility. So where to find the SORG? It is right here on the home page of 1850. It's that green center box that you've got, which is right next to probably where you registered to come to this meeting. So if you click there, it's a great way to make sure that you can get your questions answered. A couple things that we want to highlight are guest speakers anytime you're traveling and if you want to have an event in the ballroom. So first, guest speakers, they require 4 weeks of time to pass between when you register the event and when you think that speaker is going to come to campus. So you really need to make sure that you're planning ahead if you have a guest speaker coming. There is a guest speaker committee who reviews the folks who you want to be bringing, external folks that you want to be bringing to speak to your organizations, just to make sure it fits within the university's mission. So there's people on there from all different offices around campus. So we like to give them enough time to review those things. If you are going to travel, we also work with the GIA Center to make sure that everyone is doing that in a safe way. So we need to make sure that if you're traveling outside of especially the state of Ohio, you give us some time in order to make sure that those events can be registered and approved in a good fashion. And last is events in the ballroom. As you all are well aware, I'm sure, there are not a lot of large spaces on this campus for student orgs to have events. So if you are wanting to have an event in the ballroom, you need to book that as early as you can in order to give you the best chance of being able to have that space. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 1850 and the Campus Groups app. So certainly make sure you have the Campus Group app downloaded on your phone, and you can use this to check folks into your meetings or into your events. You can use it to collect funds, and you can use it to do all kinds of different advertising for the events that your organization is going to be sponsoring. All right, so this is just kind of a showing of how you would find it. I imagine most of you, due to Aviate and being a member and an officer of a student organization, already know what this looks like. But in whatever app store you use, you're going to search for Campus Groups. And then within that app, you're going to search for the University of Dayton and then 1850. So that's how you're going to get started. The same things that happen on your laptop, you can do on your phone. Some of them are just a little bit easier on a laptop than on a phone. So this kind of shows you how you are able to scan folks in to an event. So up in the top right corner of your profile, you should have this little QR code, and that lets you check yourself into a meeting. So that's the way that a lot of student organizations take attendance. So we really do recommend that. If you're looking for an easy way to take attendance at a meeting, you can just have folks check in with their QR codes, and then you've already got a list that 1850 is going to keep track of for you. All right, so there are a couple ways that we reach out to you all throughout the week. We try really hard to not spam you, and because of that, we send out one weekly student leader email every Tuesday. That usually comes in Tuesday afternoons, and it usually has a nice list up at the top of all the information that's going to be below. So if there is something on that leader email that pertains to everyone in your organization, we would love it if you would forward that on to everyone. Or if not, it's just information for you to know, opportunities for your group to participate in things around campus or around the local community. And then additionally, we can message you about individual events based through the messaging system in 1850. So this next slide should hopefully, show us what that looks like. So on the left there, that is an example of an email, of one of the weekly emails that we've sent out. And on the right is what a message will look like from 1850. If we have a question about an event or about something that you're trying to plan, it's a great way just to chat back and forth. So we don't need to all be sending emails. But it's a great way to say, hey, can you just fill out this one more part? Or if you have a question about how to do something, you can message us through 1850 inside the event. All right, like I said before, it's really important that we know who the officers of your student organization are. That is our best way to keep track of everybody. So make sure that the right people are receiving messages. So any, I'm sorry, any officer of your organization can update this page of who officers are. And you are able to assign roles. So you can assign either president, vice president, treasurer, or if you have specially named officers in your organization, there is an empty box in order for you to type those in. We would love it if you typed in or selected the officer of every member of your executive board. But if not, the president and treasurer are really important that you have them marked as what their role is. We would really love for you to make changes to those officer pages within the day that you have your elections, or at least the week that you have your elections. That doesn't mean you have to take off your old officers. There's still stuff that they're still trying to take care of, but make sure that those new officers are added. The way we run reports, that all of the correct officers need to be in there on December 1st and May 1st. So depending on when you have those elections for your organization, one of those two might make more sense for you. All right, a little bit of information about financial information. Many of your treasurers came to the meeting either yesterday or last week, and they got a much more in-depth idea of some of this, but I just wanted to highlight to all presidents and any other officers that might be here where the financial tool is. It's right in the center on the homepage of 1850, right next to the Student Org Resource Guide. And that walks you through question by question of what it is you want to be doing with your student organization money and how you can best do it. So it's a great tool that was built just for us. So if ever there's an issue with it, please reach out. But it really does walk you straight through what you need to do for pretty much any situation that you're going to be spending money. I just want to let you know that Flyer Funder is open right now. I believe it is open until at least another week. It's the University of Dayton's version of GoFundMe. You cannot use any other crowdsourcing or crowdfunding opportunities outside of the Flyer Funder for your organization. So this is a great way to be on UD's advancement webpage and send folks in that direction in order to raise money for your organization. So down at the bottom, they've got some examples of things that groups have been able to do. They've been able to send folks to conferences, start up funds for organizations, go on adventures. So it's a great way to raise money for your group. All right. This is just a little bit more in-depth information on that SGA funding that I talked about at the beginning. But again, spring funding week, it can be up to $1,000. And just like every other semester of SGA funding, it does not roll over. You have to use those funds before the semester ends. And then the special request funding, again, that is up to $1,000, and the student engagement grants are up to $250 a year. So those dates are all on there for spring funding and student engagement grants. Those are until January 22nd. And then special request funding is a first come, first serve kind of situation, but it is open until April 8th. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about event registration. So what is considered an event? Anytime you are representing your organization, it is an event. When in doubt, please register it. If it's something that you don't need to be registering, we will let you know, but I can pretty much promise you that that will never happen. So please register everything from the smallest meeting to the largest event. Organizations that are not registering events are putting their recognition status in jeopardy. Make sure that you're connecting with your advisor to make sure that they know what you're doing. Sometimes if I am walking across campus and I see an advisor and I know that your organization's about to do something, I might mention it to them, and they don't want that to be the first time that they're aware that you're hosting some big event. And then please just keep in mind that there are over 260 recognized student organizations, and there's just a few of us who are approving events. So please make sure that you're giving us a little bit of grace and that you're planning your events with enough lead time that you've got time for there to be an approval process to happen. And please know that just registering your event does not mean it's approved. It has to go through a process, and for some different organizations, some of our fraternity and sororities, some of our club sports, there's a multiple layer approval process. So just make sure that you're building in enough time to be registering that in advance so that you've got time to have your event approved. All right, here's some highlights on how to book space on campus. The Center for Student Involvement books all spaces in KU, VWK, Adele, and most of the outdoor spaces. There is a reservation form on the KU website to request that. That form can take a couple days for that booking to be confirmed. Or you could walk into our office in KU 241 or give us a call at the number on the screen, and you could be booking that immediately. I really recommend groups, especially if you're looking for some of our larger spaces, to visit us in KU 241 or give us a call and get that immediate confirmation of the space that's available. If you want to book space in the Recplex, either one of their studios or the big gym in the back or the main gym, they have a reservation site path on their website. So just visit that, visit the Campus Rec website and then go to facilities and then reservations, and you can fill out their request form. If you want to book space at Art Street or in the outdoor amphitheater, you're going to email them at Art Street Reservations. And if you want any classroom on campus, that's when you're going to go into 25 Live. Nearly all students have been assigned into that student booking group, but it might take a day or two in order to make sure that you're in that right spot to be able to see. That's also where you're going to book any vans that you want, or any vehicles that you want to book from UD. You're going to do that on 25 Live. These are just a few more reminders. Please, please, please do not wait until the last minute to register your events. And again, like we said, events with external speakers and contracts, they need more time. So we ask for them to be in 4 weeks ahead of time. Please know you can't advertise your event, sign up, or RSVP or sign any of the release agreements in 1850 until it's approved. So if you're trying to get people to sign up to go to an event, it has to be approved in enough time to give folks the space and the time to be able to sign up for it, right? And then know that student organizations are responsible for practicing safe and healthy decision-making at all events, which I hope you all are doing. All right, social media. Many of your groups have a social media account, and we are expecting you to monitor the use of those accounts to make sure that there isn't a member of your group that's accidentally posting their personal things on your group's Instagram page or anything like that, and making sure that the content aligns with the values of the organization and the University of Dayton. We ask that you on somewhere on your bio are saying that you are not an official university social media account. That you are welcome to say you are an organization at the University of Dayton, but we would like something in your bio to say that you're not an official account of the University of Dayton. And then, of course, just like many other things, organizations using social media in ways that are inconsistent with university policy may jeopardize their ability to be a recognized student organization. All right, a few things on travel policies. All travel off campus needs to be registered on 1850. Your events need to begin at the designated time to leave campus and ends when you are back on campus. Overnight trips are always to be non-alcoholic, and all students must RSVP to the event to travel. You'll be able to select the RSVP form at the bottom of the event registration form in those additional drop downs that there are. When we're talking about transportation, all drivers must have a valid driver's license and personal insurance. There's a lot of different transportation options. Your group can travel in personal vehicles. You can rent UD vans, you can rent enterprise vans, and certainly if you're large enough, charter buses and things like that. For renting university vehicles, again, you can start that process in 25 Live, or you can reach out to Sandra Harris. Her phone number's here on the screen. And she can help figure out the right vehicle for whatever it is that your group is trying to do. And please remember that all drivers must be a certified driver by the university, even if you are driving your personal vehicle. So all you have to do is go to the University of Dayton homepage and just type in driver certification up in the search bar, and that'll take you to the risk and audit webpage, and that will take you to the driver certification process. I really recommend everybody at your next meeting, have everybody bring their laptop and just take some time and everyone get certified. That will solve so many problems down the road of folks trying to get certified to be drivers if your organization is one that does any traveling. So these are just some numbers to highlight that there's about 12,000 students at UD, and you all are holding over 4,000 events. We have over 250 student organizations, but we're all here for one purpose and in one community. So please be keeping that in mind as you're hosting events and planning events and perhaps even collaborating with each other to host a better event. To talk a little bit about risk of our register events. Each time that you fill out the risk management form, which is within the event registration form, we ask you about these different options. What kind of risk could be applied to your student organization based on what it is that you're doing? Could there be physical risks? Could there be emotional? Could the university or your student organization have a reputational risk by what actions you're about to take at your event? Could facilities be a risk? And could there be a financial risk to your organization? So we're going to ask some questions throughout the event registration process to help you think through what could be happening throughout your time at whatever event it is that you're planning. Some important dates, March 15, 16, and 17. No events by orgs will be approved with any external guests. As you are aware, that is St. Patrick's Day weekend, and we are trying to make sure that this is a safe environment for everyone to be here on campus. And absolutely no events with alcohol will be approved on any of those days for that weekend. The next important date is April 8th. That is when the solar eclipse is happening here in this area. And again, there will be no events with external guests approved. We would love for you to continue to have your org's events, but we're not going to be having external folks joining us on campus for those days. Just like always, no events will be approved for April 16th evening and then April 17th for Standard Symposium. We hope that you are supporting your organization members by going to their presentations or presenting yourself in the different areas of your research. And then during study days and the weekend before exams, there will be no events with the exception of a few study tables during that April 27th to Friday, May 3rd, just to make sure that you are focusing on the reason you're here at UD, your studies, and making sure that you all are doing a fabulous academic job while you're here on campus. This is just giving you some contact information for all of us in the office, myself, Morgan, Amy, and Aaron. We are all happy to respond to personal emails, or you can send them to the student orgs at udayton.edu account, and then we can figure out what the best way to solve your question is. So if you all would like to scan in using this QR code, please make sure that you're saying what group you're from. And yeah. That is the end of our spring 2024 president's meeting. Thank you all for coming. Once you scan in, you are free to go. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask them in the chat, or you're welcome to unmute yourself if you would like to do that. So thank you all. Feel free and scan in, and you can be on your way. Can I get a thumbs up if someone has had success checking in? 1850s had a few special days. Awesome. I got one. Thank you, Emmett, very much. And all of you. We are permitted to have events on April 7th, not just the 8th. Yes, you can have events on April 7th. Yes, that's fine. Thanks, Amanda. Caroline, can you just send me an email saying that you were here and asked in the chat for the link either to student orgs at UDayton or G Fox Stump 1 and let me know, because I do not have the link. I'm not the one that made this president's meeting, sorry. Aiden, oh, hazing prevention, what a good question. I will find out information about the hazing prevention training that I can add to the Tuesday student leader email. yes, you can have meetings during the February 24th break. Yes, Emily, that'd be great. Feel free and send an email. Oh, sorry. I don't know how to fix that. How do I go back? I don't know how to do that.